Peace, greetings to everybody. Welcome to this session on Insights with Transformational Leaders. Today we have with us Melissa Indot. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you. So good to be here. Thank you.
Yes, Melissa, we're so happy you are here with us. And this session, this segment, this show that we do is very much about transformation leaders who have been there and done that and gone through so much of transformation that they inspire us. That we want to have you share your inspiration with the world and inspire others to become, much more greater and bigger in their life as well. So this is a project of Go Global Business School, and so we are so so many souls in terms of making it happen for everyone. So we have with us Melissa. Melissa's work is very much in the creative space, and she has been in entertainment industry. She has been in the entertainment industry for more than, or rather 24 years right now. That's a long time for someone. And she has been in the profound power of music with her passion for personal development. It's very interesting how she has weaved the two together, and I just love it. She's right now the transformative life coach and conscious living mentor, guiding people towards creating a passionate life on purpose. I just love that. And I love your work with the Creatrix of intuitive music programming. I just love that. IMP. We're going to speak a lot about that, Melissa.
Yeah, I'm excited to share with you. I'm full of curiosity, and I'm ready to answer any questions you have on that.
Yes, I have lots of questions for you, because the more I read your bio and the more I read about your work, I'm like, okay, where should I go? Where should I start? So let me start with what inspired you to do what you're doing right now.
What inspired me? To be honest, I'm a person who works, or rather who lives very much in flow. So I don't really feel that I was necessarily inspired. I feel like I was guided. So my main career, I've taken all sorts of different routes, as you mentioned, Azeeza. And every decision I've ever made has always been based on my intuition. So it's always like, oh, that feels right, I'm just going to do it. And even when any decisions may have felt like they didn't make sense, like in my mind, if it didn't fit within an expectation, or it didn't think in a way that was what I was thinking, and I thought it's not logical, like it doesn't make sense, it's not practical, but the calling within me was so powerful, I would allow for the calling within me, some people call that intuition, to override my thoughts. And that's really steeped in a foundation of an understanding that our intuition is a knowing, so it's unquestionable. If you think about that, we're a body, right? We're a holistic human being. If I'm getting that gut feeling or heart feeling, it's not just sort of located just within one area. It's my whole body. You feel the resonance, the vibration, right? But a thought is only within the mind. And our mind and our thoughts are very much cultivated by what we learn, by what we hear other people tell us. It's acquired knowledge. So there's a difference between knowing, which exists in my body's intuition, and what I know, which is knowledge that I've acquired, and that in most cases isn't actually even mine, because it's someone's study, someone's research, someone's data, someone's information. My knowing, my intuition is 100% my own information. So what inspired me, what led me here really is my intuition. What I do as a leader, a transformational leader, is I'm a mentor and a guide, and I'm also a coach, depending on what the client requires of me. So as a coach, I help the client set goals and take action steps. As a mentor, well, mentorship is actually being someone who holds space and reflects back to the client their greatest potential. And very much a little bit like what a guide does as well. I'm kind of there to hold space to really listen to the client and ask curious questions, leading questions that support them in finding their own answers within them. Yeah, maybe I should pause there. And transformational, because it's about it's about supporting people in moving through a very life-changing experience. And it doesn't have to be big. Life-changing can be a shift in mindset. You're muted, Dr. Azeeza.
Yes, there was some noise outside, so I wanted to like completely have you with us. So the knowing and the know, that I know, and the knowingness, you're seeing that as two separate things, and that's a very, very deep conversation, because people sometimes do not know which is the knowing and which is the, the
Yes.
embedded. Is there anything that you can pick up with us? I mean, get a little bit deeper in this conversation.
Absolutely. You've got me on one of my most favorite things to talk about. So, first of all, defining, differentiating, knowing. I have a knowing. Even in that sentence, I have a knowing. Right? I invite everybody who's watching this to feel, to sense, to notice how that feels in your experience. What you experience when you say, I have a knowing, in comparison to saying, I know this. One literally feels the experience of the words is deeper than the other, right? So a knowing is something that exists in the body. It's physical and emotional.
Yeah.
To know something means that you have a knowledge. You can have a deep knowledge, but it's something that very much exists in the mind and is a frame of thought. So I just want to pause there because it is deep. So I want to know that to check in with you at least, Dr. Azeeza, how that landed.
That landed really well. And it's like really,
maybe I can give you an example as well.
Please do. Please do.
So imagine that you have your friends calling you on a Sunday night to say, hey, let's go out. Let's go to a play, or let's go to whatever it is your favorite thing to do is, right? And the first thing that you feel is, yes. You're like, yeah, I want to do that. That's the knowing. Then the mind kicks in and goes, oh, wait, you got an early morning call tomorrow. And if you go, then you might be sleepy. And then it might affect your call. And maybe it's a bit irresponsible of you to do that. So that's what you think because you're thinking your thoughts. We think our thoughts. We think we know that. We're fitting into these expectations of how we should be. And so when you think about that enough, you override what you know. And what you know is, or your knowing is, yes, go, because it feels good. It feels like this is what you need. And what happens is we fall into the trap of thinking our feelings and feeling our thoughts. When our thoughts are meant to be thought and our feelings are meant to be feelings, and I love to invite everybody to be guided by your feelings. And when I'm talking about feelings, I'm not talking about just emotions. I'm talking about intuition. I'm talking about that gut feeling. Feel into that, get the answer, and then you get the mind to employ what is the action step. I think the problem with humanity, the struggle with humanity, is that we live only in our heads and only in our minds.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll pause there.
I just love it. The part where you say, let the mind, I kind of lost that part, but because I got so excited with the second one, the first one was so good. And so basically we are working the other way around. We let our mind lead us instead of our heart leading us. Or you said something very interesting, that part of you, that knowingness and the emotions, that it's deeper than that. It's not just the feelings. It's not just the feelings. You said it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. You want to talk about that. That's so important, because many people confuse emotions with an intuition. Okay, I got that. Okay, maybe they get confused with that. So what do you have to say on that?
So first of all, just to recap, most of humanity, we lead with our minds. We lead with our minds, our thoughts, our decision making is all obviously in the mind. But actually what we want to do ultimately is to lead from our intuition, or our more holistic approach. Because as I mentioned, we're leading from our minds, we're leading from information and knowledge we've acquired. It's someone else's. It's a collection of other people's information. But really, I want to be decision making based on what I feel is right in this moment as a leader. Okay? So the difference between intuition and emotions. Okay, well, emotions come in waves, right? Intuition is not a wave. Intuition is a very present moment experience. So I will use that word experience, intuition, and rather than emotion. Emotion is like fear, it's anxiety, it's worry, it's anger, it's shame, it's guilt, it's love. Those are emotions. Okay, intuition is just intuition. Intuition is simply a knowing.
Mm.
It's absolute. It's yes or no, right? It's safety or not safety. Does that help to
Yeah, there's no
differentiate?
second guessing on that knowingness. If it's
Yes.
second guessed, most likely it's not knowingness. It's just the acquired information. And I just love that part. Living from acquired information that, kind of disrupting your knowingness.
And it's about the whole holistic approach, because at the end of the day, when I can recognize my intuition, my gut feeling, often people relate intuition with the gut feeling, then the gut feeling tells me one thing. Then I'll use the mind to process that, right? Process it first. But I'm very mindful. That's where the mindfulness comes in as to what is going to override my gut feeling or my thought process. Because my gut feeling, as holistic human beings, as a whole united body, right? We are a complex, extraordinary system of different networks.
Yes.
Muscular, skeletal, respiratory, cardiovascular, right? Endocrine. I'm not a biologist, but you get what I mean. Where all these systems intelligently interlaced with each other, functioning at high level, high, without us needing to think. So I'll pause there already. It's all happening without us needing to think. So wouldn't I want to lead my life plugging into this incredible intelligence of my body, my physicality, that's already functioning so efficiently to support me leading my life and making my decisions, rather than just using my thought when I don't even need to think about being alive?
Yeah. You're sending me energy on my spine right now.
All right. And we have these senses, right? We have our vision, we have our touch, sense, smell, taste, audio. And actually we're picking up and constantly picking up information from our environment. But yet we make decisions just from one aspect of us, which is our brain, our mind.
Yeah. You talk about this as senses. Well, how do you connect the senses together to become more effective? And you do that extremely well because of your background in the entertainment and all that songs you sing. Oh my God, it's so soulful. They bring out so much of energy and power. I was listening to some of them. So how do you feel our senses can get connected for ourselves to function more effectively?
Thank you for asking that question. Again, if I go back to the mind and the thoughts, the mind processes through a language, right? Language is a construct as humans we've created so that we can identify things and we can relate things using language. And I'm going to ask everybody now, imagine or remember when you were a child. Feels like such a profound question. How do I remember back to when I didn't have language? Everything was, back to experience. We knew what we wanted. We knew what we wanted to explore. And actually, we use curiosity and the gift and power of curiosity to figure things out. That's where innovation happens, actually, right? Innovation comes from trying and testing things and things happening outside of what we plan.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to what your question was, because I kind of lost my way a little bit. Your question was about the senses, yeah. So incorporating all the senses and being open to the multiple variety of information and the way the information is collected. So what I mean, I'll give you an example. In education, for example, everybody has a different way of learning. Some of us are visual learners. We need to see things, right? Some of us are audio learners. Some people like an audiobook. How many people, I'm wondering, watching this, they write in the comments, how many of you prefer to listen to an audiobook rather than read it? How many of you actually like to have both, like a video, that would be video, moving image? Right? How many people actually like to read, like need to have the text? So it's an experiment to see which way lands better for you. We learn in a different way because we receive information through those different channels in a different way. So when we use our senses, like particularly I use music as a transformational tool, because music, as a singer-songwriter, I know how much intention goes behind creating music. Right? You write a song with a purpose, whether that purpose is through healing on heartbreak, healing on grief, or maybe we're celebrating something. You see already the intention behind creating the song. So the intention then is infused in the vibration of the music. So when people listen to that song, right? Everybody has a song that you listen to that makes you, that uplifts you. It's not just because of the words. It's because there's been an intention put into that song to uplift you. If I go to simple physics, everything that is matter and even non-matter is made of atoms. All atoms are made of electrons, neutrons, and protons.
Proton.
Thank you. Right? And it's vibration. So we are all vibration, frequency. You look at a sound wave is vibration. So we respond to vibration, to the sound of music, literally. Whether or not we're aware of it, we respond to it. So we have something that has an intention, and intention itself is vibration, high vibration, low vibration. So when we listen to music, it can shift our vibration. It can shift our state of being. That's why when you're down and you listen to Pharrell Williams' song Happy, we took the lyrics out, you would still find your state shifting because you're matching that energy. In the same way, so I incorporate that into the transformational work I do because I curate playlists. This is what IMP is. Maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit, Dr.
Yes, please go ahead. Yes.
IMP, Intuitive Music Programming, is all about, I create programs that are basically me walking through my clients, my participants on an adventure that requires us to listen to an intuitively curated playlist of songs that is connected with the theme of the workshop or the program. So if we're dealing with navigating fear, then there is a playlist around fear that I walk us through. And for every single song, there's a teaching aspect and there's a prompt. Now, why music? Because when you listen to music, there is an ability to quieten the voice when we're listening to music and get connected with our senses, with our body. Hearing and feeling, we all feel music. And so music becomes the safe container. It becomes the container from which our subconscious thoughts can come through. So that's essentially the core of intuitive music programming and how it incorporates the senses into getting connected with our intuition.
Wow. When you do that, when you talk about the intuition and coming together, this feeling of knowingness, the vibrations in the energy, right? So the sound has got a vibration and you are lining the body vibration to that. Am I right to say?
Absolutely, spot on, yes.
Yeah, and how do people respond to this? You used to be in London. We haven't talked about your journey. Like you started off your work and all your awards that you won and all of that also started off from London as well, right? So you had huge followings. I think one of your shows hit 14 million people viewing it. So that's amazing feat as a nation. You've done it there, and then you came back to Malaysia in 2005. And since then, you have been there, but you're working out some amazing things. You didn't stop that in that sense. So how do you feel this transformation has supported you, and how do you inculcate this transformation in people? So what do you offer people in that programs?
It's such a great question. So I found a way to to unite my two big passions in life. One, which is music, and the other, which is personal development and really spiritual awakening. When I say spiritual, I mean this
non-religious.
Non-religious, yes. It's just about being connected to ourselves, connect to our inner truth, connect to our inner purpose. And it's using music for that. Now, how did I come to this? Is from my career in the music business. I then went through a couple of really transformational life experiences. And essentially they were me as being a caregiver, palliative caregiver as well to both my father and my soulmate. And so that pulled me into a state of self-inquiry, which was basically asking the question, why am I here? Why am I doing this? How am I living my life? Why have I been given the gift of curiosity and the gift of music? That has to be my purpose. So it's through adventuring that it's brought me to what I'm doing today as a transformational life coach, transformational mentor, using the power of music. Because basically what I went through personally, the roadmap, the blueprint, I now make available to everybody else. And the intention is to use music, like I say. You're already doing it. Everybody here, if you run, you probably have a running playlist. You go to the gym, you probably choose your favorite workout teacher because they have a great playlist.
Yeah.
Some of us listen to music to calm down, to fall asleep. You have a music playlist maybe to have at your dinner party. We listen to specific radio stations. So imagine if you had the ability to intentionally create playlists to soundtrack your life. So if you had a big project coming up and you needed to be able to focus, you would intuitively create a playlist that would support you on that. If you had anxiety and you knew you would relate to certain music that brings you calm, you could create an anxiety playlist.
Yeah.
But you have a heartbreak. Everybody has a heartbreak playlist, but bringing the power and intention to it is transformational. Transformation comes with attention and intention, which then equals action. So that's what's led me to where I am today. I probably should pause there.
Yeah. So, when you talk to me about that, when we talk about heartbreak playlists, right? Many people go for the heartbreak playlist in a very different way. They go for all the heartbreak songs and want to cry over it.
Yeah. So I have a logic behind that.
Yeah, right? Go ahead. Tell me about that.
Which ultimately, as human beings, we crave connection. That's what we do. We want to connect. In fact, that's where we thrive. We thrive through connection. So more often than not, through connection, we also want to help each other. We want to support each other. Now, if you're going through something like heartbreak, there's loss of relationship, or maybe let's talk about grief, loss of life. More often than not, we want to be heard. We just want to be heard, and we want someone to be with us in that experience. We don't want to be saved. We don't want to be rescued. We don't want advice. We actually don't want to be helped, because what we need in that moment is to be where we are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be exactly where we are in that moment and actually ride that wave of the emotion. Emotions, on a different note, are there to guide us, to take us specific places. Anger is there to tell us that change is required. Grief is telling us that there is a cycle that is ending, and that we need now to create a space for something new to be born. So with music, why people listen to music when they have heartbreak and when they're grieving is because music is the ultimate best friend who can meet you where you are in your emotions. Like that heartbreak song, I feel sad, that song, it totally gets me, those lyrics get me, right? I can feel it. It's holding me exactly where I am. It listens, it understands exactly what I need without trying to save or rescue me. And it probably give me the permission to cry, to feel what I need to feel. And once the emotions have moved through me, I can then take the next step.
That's a very, very, nobody have actually talked about this logic. Thank you for explaining that logic around it. It makes complete sense to feel the feeling and get over it. And people can move on. Very powerful. Thank you so much for that.
It's more to get through it rather than get over it.
Exactly.
Through it, yeah.
Yeah, everything. We need to walk through it instead of brushing it away and putting things aside. So thank you so much, Melissa. You have been such a pleasure with us on the show. I mean, we've done some very deep diving, different kind of a conversation, I have to say, coming from where you have, the experiences you've gone through. And it's really heartwarming to see you do what you do, and inspiring for sure. Can you leave us a message for all our audience in terms of going through a transformation? What is your take on it, and what would you leave us with?
Okay, that's a great question. I would say that our greatest power is our power of awareness. And through acquiring the power of awareness, which means that we become the observer of our thoughts. We take one step back and we observe like little thought clouds what our thoughts are. We can then become aware of what our narrative and patterns are. And we become aware of our narratives and our patterns. We can then step back into a sovereign position where we choose the life that we want to live. We choose the type of experiences we want to live, because we often feel that we are a victim or as a result of a circumstance. But actually, we have a choice in every given moment. We get to choose what our experience is in every given moment. There's no such thing as a bad experience. There's only such thing as an experience and what I can make of it. And that comes from power of awareness. That's what I would leave you with.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now you leave me so peaceful, and I just love this feeling I am with you right now. Thank you so much for the work that you do and the kind of impact you're creating for people, and we love to be in touch with you. Friends, you can check out her website. It's on the comment box, and also connect with her. You just have to Google Melissa Indot. You'll find it online for sure, and also her website, melissa.indot.
May I give a couple of shout outs?
Yes,
I've got
please
a
do.
couple of things coming up. Wonderful, thank you. So
Say that again.
I have a couple of things upcoming which I'd love to shout out.
Yes, please.
So I have online programs that are self-paced. I have group programs that are live, and I work one-on-one with people, or I journey one-on-one with people. But in particular, this weekend, 1st of May, and then 8th of May, which is the week after, the next 2 Saturdays, I'm running live workshops online that would normally only be available as self-paced, pre-recorded programs. So I'm running them live.
Wow.
So reach out to me, get on board. The 2 programs are Being Fearless, so that's walking fear, that's transforming, making fear your friend. And the other one is called Thriving in Uncertainty, which is all about how do we navigate uncertainty. We live uncertainty every day. So let me know. Contact me this Saturday and next Saturday. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you so much. And anytime, the details are here, and please get in touch with her. We're so grateful that you're here with us, and we look forward to having you more in our shows and in our events.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure to be here. Such an honor. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. I'm sure you are as inspired and as moved as I am with Melissa's work and the kind of support she's giving to humanity. So watch this and share this video with everyone. And we look forward to seeing you with another amazing transformation leaders. This is Azeeza, Go Global Business School. See you soon.